All right, take two. Take two. Let me know if anything's not working. Okay? Let me know if anything's not working. I can't use my regular camera for my stream because it won't let me use both. Okay? I want to thank Tim for subscribing, baby. I want to thank Tim greatly. Um, man. Eh. Yep. Okay. Good. Somebody talk to me. Anybody talk to me. We got about a half hour before the interview starts. I just want to make sure that everything's working out for you guys because I can see my microphone's waking. I will check the audio here in a second from the desktop. I don't have any feedback from them at the moment, so I don't have any idea if the desktop audio is waking. But anyway, yeah, this is my secondary camera. I set this up myself for you guys to be able to watch what's going on. Oh shit! I'm going to back up a little bit because the interview is far more important than the behind the scenes, if you will. So I set this up secondarily. This is my laptop camera. It's not as good as my primary camera, but I want them to have the good camera. I mean, I'm a dick, but I'm not that big of a dick. So yeah, if anybody wants to talk to me, feel free. I'm gonna crack open a couple of drinks, and we're gonna get Gonzo in here in a minute. And I gotta text him and let him know that I'm set up. But yeah, yeah. Okay. So ad break time. My stogie. That's okay. We'll make a mess right here. That works. I like that. Okay. Ugh. I don't know if you can hear me. I don't know if you can see me. Somebody talk to me. Anybody talk to me. Talk to me. Okay. I think I think we'll get started just as soon as they're ready. I'm ready. I'm ready. There we go. I'm watching my own stream. The hell with everybody else. Okay. So now we're live. We're living color. I got sound. I don't know how it's going to look for them. So we're going to find out. Uh, we'll see. It may all crash on me. Who knows? I need to take a shot for Tim. That's what I got to do. Where the hell's my shot glass? Tim subscribes. I'm taking a drink. Them's the rules. Them's the rules, Jack. Tim, hey, come back and see me. All right. Scottish better get his ass in here. Oh, a big thank you to Tim. God love him.
Are you watching the TV?
No, I didn't say anything about you. Close the door. All right. I think we're ready. This is my first time trying to dual stream. Let me see if I can get doc sources. Let's capture a display capture. There it is. All right. So let me reduce this down. I got a lot of stuff going on. I got a lot of stuff going on. So we'll park this up here like that. There we go. That way you guys can see everything that's going on. My screen, your screen, we all screen for ice cream. Shut up, you. Nobody asked you. Sit back there and be quiet. All right, so God bless America. Are we good now? I think we're good now. I want to see how it looks for those guys on the other end, because you got to be able to see what's going on. I got to be able to see what's going on. It's a busy screen. What do you want? Okay, we're good now. We're good. We just got to get some more people in here talking to me. What we got on time? We got 6 minutes. Okay. Okay. I'm in. I'm good. As soon as Gonzo fires his shit up, we'll get this show on the road. VIP. Oh, God, that feels good. God, that feels good. As soon as Tim comes back, I'm taking a shot. Come on. Oh, Danny. I gotta find out if the audio is gonna work. I have no clue if you guys are gonna get audio or not. But I mean, you have desktop. I'm gonna have audio. You should have audio. I'll play with it for just a minute, but then I'm not gonna dick with it no more. Benny. Man, it's been a long time since I've had to actually be part of the program. I'm so used to sitting back and relaxing that this is going to be troublesome for a minute. Oh, I'm arguing with the wrong camera. I'm arguing with this camera. I want this camera to go down. There we go. That makes me feel better. Okay, that's Tim. That's Tim. Tim, I owe you a shot, buddy. This is like a triple. So this interview is going to get started off on a real hot note. This is not my usual camera. My camera's hooked up to Gonzo, and then you guys get the laptop. Oh, Dad. That was like oak. I had 2x4 of oak in the mouth. That was what that was. Woo! Ooh. Ooh. Right. Oh, man. I am too. I'm ready. I just wish the green screen wouldn't eat my damn outfit so much. Yeah, I gotta square myself with that camera and this camera. We're good. I don't know if you're gonna get any audio on this end from them, because I got the microphone tied into me. Close the door. It's Sissy. Vincent.
I'm getting it.
Okay. Die. Monkey and butt. Woo, woo. Walk, walk. There she goes. She walk, walk. Okay. No. This is live and live in color. They're probably gonna save it and edit it and all that. But no, this is live and in living color. This is the real thing. All right, whatever they edit it down to, Mountain Man. Hey, I had to do some editing. All right, I had to do some editing. Gonzalez is getting ready over there. I had to do some editing, so my camera wouldn't work with their program at the same time as mine. I like it. I gotta back up a little bit. Can you hear me, you rat bastards?
Nope, I don't hear a word.
I didn't think you could. Good.
Oh, good. Not the baby.
Hey, can you guys hear the Marcus on your end? Come on.
Hello, can you hear me?
I can hear you, you loud mouth.
I didn't know if they could hear me.
Yeah.
I thought I was doing sound checks for them.
I'm gonna kick your ass.
Yeah, we was waiting on that.
Don't
We can talk about Chris right now. If you hurry up and talk about, oh no, he's got his headphones on. We can't talk about him now.
I got my headphones on.
Hey,
Hey,
Chris just put his on. We could have said something nasty about it, but now he can hear us.
I'm trying to figure out how to adjust the settings, the incoming audio. It might just be me in my ear. Okay, Tim hears you guys. I don't have any of my widgets tied to this thing, Mountain Man. So, joke's on you. Okay. You guys can ask questions. Yeah, I did. You guys can ask questions, but Chris is in charge. Tony, Chris, and that schmuck over there, Marcus Fine, they're in charge. Okay, I can't put this on over my damn headphones. It won't work.
You can, but you look like a dork.
Oh, says the guy who takes my picture all the time. Okay, fine.
Yeah, you know how it goes.
We won't tell you what he does with those pictures.
Somebody clip that for later. I appreciate you. Why am I such a dick? Well, it comes with the DNA. I think that's what it is. Oh my God. Anyway, how was Chris? You good?
Yeah, I'm good.
All right, I can hear you. You sound like you need to cut down to about 2 more packs a day.
Well, he's just getting off a bad illness, so.
Oh, well, I know putting up with your ass would make me sick, so.
No, I had nothing to do with that time.
I'm trying to decide the range that I want for the camera. This one over here is giving me fits. I get a little closer. There. I made my own background. I don't give a shit about you guys. I can make my own background.
I like the background.
Well, thank you. It was like a green screen. Got to fix this. It's nice and fuzzy, like back in the '80s with the snow on the screen. Yeah, this is exactly what I want out of my entire existence. '80s style graphics. Okay.
All right.
Okay. All right. So 4:30. Whenever you fire this thing up, I guess.
You ready? I'm ready. All right. Well, I'll get it fired up.
Do it. There we go. Mountain Man, you're not funny. Where are my pictures? Where are my pictures of the meal? And where are my pictures of what you did with your winnings? Cause man, I sent you some love. I was hoping you already had a good meal on me. I got ash all over my table. Timmy's in here, so Tim's good to go. I took a shot for Tim because Tim subscribed, so actually it was like a triple because I wanted to get fired up for this here interview. There we go. Now it's game time. Oh, Dad. Woo. VIP time, Daddy. There he is. What's up, Kevin? I love it. Back in the game. So excited. I'm so fucking pumped. We got a lot of ground to cover, folks. We got a lot of ground to cover. So hurry up and bring your friends. Bring them in here. Have them sit down with the VIP of wrestling. Hey. Oh. VIP. VIP. That's gonna do me no good in this one. Very. Damn, I miss this feeling. Oh, I needed some ghost now, you know? Little square hammer action. Damn right, Jack. Future Hall of Fame. Hall of Famer now, they just haven't admitted it yet. With the color. It's a little better.
Whole sports all plays. Whole sports all plays. Whole sports all plays. 365, we making up plays. We talking the game, get you to the days. We're high in the court, the dime in the lane. Variety topics, living the same. All presentation, sports information. Hitting the airways, taking the nation. All sport, all plays, they working your faces. Grace at the field, so tie the laces. All sports, all plays.
That'd be absolutely devastating.
Oh!
This is Joey.
We have a little lag, apparently.
Forever. And this is the worst damn podcast I've ever been on. So you all
little bit of
All right, what's happening, everybody? Welcome to GWR Gonzo's Wrestling Room here on Tuesday, February 13th, 2024. We got a big interview tonight. I'm Chris Gonzalez, joined by Tony Gonzalez, also joined by Marcus Fine, as always. And then tonight we have special guest, pro wrestler Vinny Vachetti. How's it going, Vinny?
Hey, baby, how we doing? Long time no see. How are my people?
Doing great.
I got a
Doing
question.
great.
Oh, God. Already with the questions. Can you
No,
not
I
give me
want to know
5
who's our big
seconds?
interview with.
Oh, you're going to play that game, are we? All right, fine.
I got a strike before you do.
Well, you better start now because I got all night, Jack. Now, listen up. Here's the thing. I've been missing for about a year, all right? And I'm not going to discuss the ins and the outs. It's your guys' job to pull it out of me. But I haven't been seen in the ring for over a year. The last time I was in the ring that meant anything to me was in Indianapolis, and I lost my desire to chase titles at the hands of a specific individual. And from that point going forward, I decided to take a step away from the business and focus on me. And I did. I took care of business. I'm getting back to where things are good. But a lot of things happened along the way. So now here I am. I'm down 20 pounds. I fit in my gear better than I fit in my gear when I bought it. And by God, it's time for me to go after what's rightfully mine.
Okay. Well, I'm going to go ahead. So some people that's tuning in for the first time and may not be completely caught up on Mr. Vinny Vachetti. Couple quick questions. What got you interested in pro wrestling?
What got me into wrestling? Well, I like to discuss that openly. More often than not, I talk about my grandmother. Back in the 80s when, you only had the 3 channels and you had to walk your ass out to the end of the trailer and you had to turn the antenna with your hand, and, you were the remote. You walked up and you hit the button and you went back to your seat, My grandmother used to watch Saturday Night's Main Event, and she used to watch Superstars of Wrestling, and I got my passion for professional wrestling from her, okay? She had already been not really discovered, but she'd already had altercations with the Von Erichs and Skandar Akbar and the people of Texas. There's a picture I've got floating around in my possession of my aunt having served Kerry Von Erich a screwdriver. So that's how deeply rooted my bloodline goes to professional wrestling. And when it came to me getting into wrestling, it started in Columbus, Indiana in May of 2000. So I am looking down the barrel of 24 years in the wrestling business, starting in May. I got one more year after that to hit 25.
Okay. Who trained you?
Who trained me? I was handled by Bobo Brazil Jr., by the Dice Man, Ronnie Vegas, by the Dangerous Bull, Don Basher. I was handled by TJ Powers, Itch Komawita, and any of the countless amounts of legends that would show me any kind of time. Because all of the old timers always loved me. Despite the fact that I was 300 plus pounds, I had little to no training, but I was an instant classic with the fans. I'm easily recognizable. I'm easily somebody that you can get along with, or somebody you absolutely despise. And there were workers after workers after workers that were lining up that wanted a piece of me simply because they knew that by going through me, they got to the fans. And that's my job. If I piss off the crowd, that makes the good guy's job that much easier, right? So that's how I cut my teeth. Those guys right there gave me everything I ever needed. And it wasn't until really about May, somewhere in the middle of 2013, when I wrestled the Honky Tonk Man, where it all came together. but yeah, all those guys leading up to that point that had pushed me and guided me. Baron, what the hell was that? The Baron von Kane was one that put a lot of work into me, and man, ultimate respect for that guy. But there's just countless amounts of legends that have put some of the building blocks of what made them great into me.
Who was your first wrestling match against?
I wrestled a guy named the Outlaw Jesse Houston. He was under a mask, and he was going as Doink 2000. He was wearing Ronnie Vegas's Doink the Clown outfit. And it was my first match. So it was the Butcher against Doink 2000. And it was about a 3-minute match, which, you know, that's about 6 times longer than Marcus has ever gone. The
Well,
match.
I was thinking that was like 3 minutes too long of watching a match, but okay, if you want to go there.
Kiss my ass. It sticks out in my mind like it was yesterday. But I do recall that I did a chop to his chest, and I blew the button right off of his jacket. It went rolling across the ring, and then I threw him into the ropes, and I tripped because, again, this was my first wrestling match. But I had enough knowledge to lift up my feet, and it went from a clothesline into a lariat, and I cracked him so hard that his fake hair flew off. And the match went on like this until, you know, I got him in the corner, and I'm doing what I do best, and then the dumbass rakes the eyes, snapmares me out of the corner, goes to the top rope, gives me the whoopee cushion, pins me 1, 2, 3. You know, I controlled most of that match, and he still beat me. I don't know. It's like a running gag in my life.
Favorite match that you've had and favorite opponent?
Favorite? Oh God, I've had 100 favorite matches, man. I can't pick any just one. The Honky Tonk Man is probably the match that absolutely it's the best match of my career. All right, I mean not as far as wrestling goes, but it meant more to me than anything in the world, right? But that last match I had, and you guys were there, the last match I had where I was in DCCW working as a tag team partner to the Powers of Pain against Al Snow and Hero. Cal Hero and Mike King. That match, standing side by side with 2 of the biggest names that's ever been in professional wrestling, that go back to decades and decades and decades, and to be treated like an equal, to be treated like, I mean, literally like family. You know, you go back and watch that match, and both of those guys were just as gracious as hell with me, and because they knew I wanted demolition so bad. But I got the Powers of Pain, and man, there's not a day that goes by since then that I don't think about it. I mean, really. But that was those 2 matches right there are probably the ones that are key in my heart. When we talk about matches that are my favorite, that I can point to and say, man, these were good times. 2 of the matches that I had with Baron von Kane in Indianapolis, inside the steel cage, where we were just covered in blood, trying to murder each other. Those were some seriously brutal matches that they got the best reactions. When I was trying to beat him for the territorial title, and I had murdered everybody in front of me, and then he finally pinned me, and that explosion of a crowd, man, we laid there and laughed because we couldn't believe how loud that crowd had gotten over them finally getting to see me get pinned. You know, those matches like that are just, you can't ask for anything better than it. Sometimes it's not what happens to me, it's what happens to my opponent when I get pinned and the crowd goes ape shit. You know, I'm laying there on the canvas, you guys are celebrating, I'm laughing my ass off because I know I did all the work and this guy gets all the credit.
Favorite opponent? Would it be maybe Kane, or would it be somebody else?
You know, Baron von Kane's probably the one that if I could have him from like 15 years ago or 10 years ago all over again, man, every day every night, 365 days a year. I enjoy working with just about everybody. You know, I spent a lot of time in the ring with TJ Powers, a lot of time in the ring with Baron Von Kane. But you know, Dex Royal, Blake Money Wright, guys of that caliber that put on a fantastic performance and then they push you at the same time. You know, those guys put a smile on my face. Anybody that can get in the ring across from me, and I can see two things in their face. They're both excited and they're ready to go and they want this so badly, but at the same time, they're terrified. Like a Jackson Morgan, right? Where he looks at me dead in the eyes and he's going to have a time of his life and he knows it, but you can see in his face, he's terrified because he knows what I'm going to do to him.
Can I ask something real quick?
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, because it kind of goes with what he was just talking about. What has it been like working with some of this younger talent, and you getting to see some of this younger talent from when they first start and then see how they've grown now to like a year and a half later?
Yeah, I enjoy it immensely simply because you got guys out there like Blake. Okay, Blake is one of my favorite moments of my career because you can go back to the first match I had with him. So he was being managed by Jake Oman, all right, because that was the guy who brought him up, and it was me and him, and we had worked out what the match was going to be, and he was going to hit me with the spine buster. And I told him, I said, that's my finisher. So I have to finish that as close to 3 as possible. Well, we had Wayne Silver, and Wayne's a goddamn professional. And I went down to, 1, 2, and I went to throw 3, and he counted 3. And Blake looks at me, and I looked at the referee, and I was like, God damn it, dude. And he's like, sorry, man, your shoulder was down. And I'm like, horse shit. So I roll up, I look at Blake, and I go, catch. And I throw the right hand, and he caught it, goes right into his finisher, drives me on my ass, and then I put him over. Okay, now he beat me. That wasn't the finish. It was a mediocre finish, but I highlighted him just the same. And then that day in the locker room, and he'll tell you to your face, that day in the locker room, he's picking my brain. We're sitting there in the back, and he's asking me questions, and I started giving him some of my, sage advice coming from a gimmick guy to someone who was clearly of the new generation. I says to him, you got to do X, Y, and Z. I want you to go home. I want you to do this research. I want you to watch this, and I want you to come back, and I want you to show me that you understand what I'm talking about. And Marcus and you guys could probably point right to the moment after that where he went off like a rocket because he did exactly what I asked him to do. He studied where I told him to. He came back and performed. He changed his theme music. He performed exactly how I wanted him to. And the next thing you know, he's top of the food chain. Now here we are, and he's this close to getting discovered, man. He's this close. So no, those are moments like that. Those kinds of people, the Rachel Armstrongs, the Dutch boys, those guys are the ones that they take from me and they go up with it. There's very few people that I've seen that didn't work with me, that didn't go on to do good things.
I wanted to bring up a couple of things real quick, and since you went there, I was going to ask you about Rachel and about Dutch Boy Platinum. I got to see you wrestle Dutch Boy at a festival in Anderson.
Yeah.
It's one of my favorite matches that I've seen you have.
Oh, that match was awesome.
One of my favorite matches I've seen on the independent scene. So I wanted to ask you about them too, and any other young talent maybe that's out there you got your eye on.
Well, Dutch Boy, God love him. You had to be in the ring for that. You really had to be in the ring for that because the referee and the promoter, everybody else is like, you got to stretch. You got to stretch this because we're waiting on so-and-so to show up. You got to stretch this out. And I'm like, all right, but it's his ass, not mine. And I mean, me and Dutch Boy put on a clinic. It was a fight. It was as close to a real wrestling match as I've had since I wrestled Bobo Brazil Jr. I mean, it was legit. Like, you could go back and watch it. It's brutal. It's long. It's storied. it ends with him finally getting one over on me. But boy, did he ever! I mean, that standing blockbuster is a motherfucker. You know, I hit the canvas and I was just glad it was over. I'm like, oh God, I can't do that more than once. But no, that was a damn good match. You are correct, sir. Rachel Armstrong. Okay, let's talk about Rachel for just a damn minute. Little Miss Prissy Pants Sunshine. You know, she's got her name plastered on every bathroom wall. I mean, every marquee. There it is. Between here and the coast of Cucamonga. All right, she's everywhere, and by God, she deserves it. Okay. If you go back and watch that match a year ago where me and Rachel Armstrong wrestled, and I took that bad bump off the second and messed myself up and worked the rest of that match, and she beats me. I suplexed her, and she outsmarted me, and she landed on me, and she beat me. And I left that ring, and I looked her dead in the eyes. And I told her this later at Thanksgiving. I told her to her face, that look wasn't anger. She thought I was pissed. That look was absolute respect, because I drilled her, and you can ask the guys in the back that day, they said I took liberties. You took liberties because she's a woman. You took liberties because she's little. Motherfucker, number one, I'm old. Number two, I don't get to pick up everybody all the time. She's one of the people I can actually pick up and move. And I drilled her with every damn thing I had, and she still beat me. All right? So nothing but respect for Rachel Armstrong. She's earned it. She deserves it. And I hope to God she makes it.
Okay, and then one other thing I wanted to go back to was you mentioned that DCCW there when you was with the Powers of Pain.
Yeah.
It was one of my favorite moments from last year. I think you're one of the best heels out there. That day it was very hard for you to be a heel. You the smile,
Oh,
the
dude.
smile on your face
Oh, dude.
was infectious.
I
It was infectious.
Yes.
I was just so happy. I was happy for you. I was happy I was there to see it. It was what, like I said, when we did our list and stuff we put out, it was one of my favorite moments of the year. So I'm glad you got that opportunity, and I thought it was great. But that day you wasn't your best heel. I will say that.
No. I tried. I did. But you got Al Snow on the other side of the ring making a jackass out of the entire organization. You know, it runs all the way back to the locker room to get head, runs all the way back after having ridden on the damn trolley. I thought that was absolutely hilarious. But you know, he spent 5 minutes getting the head over, and you don't have to. And I'm having a conversation with Warlord about head. You know, I'm gonna be sitting in my hospital bed at the end of my run, and the nurse is like, "You got any stories you want to share?" I'm like, "Yeah, I talked to this guy one time named the Warlord about head." So you know, you had to try and recoup from that, and you got two guys who've seen more wrestling, you know, in the blink of an eye than you're ever going to see in your entire existence, and you can't focus on the wrestling. You're in the moment, you know. You need to enjoy this because it's never going to happen again. So as much as I wanted to heal, and they didn't have a complaint in the world, those two, but as much as I wanted to be a heel, Dad, man, I was a kid. I was a kid, and I turned it off for 5 minutes. I'm like, no, I'm gonna absorb this, and I did. And like I said, isn't that a day that goes by that I don't think about those two grabbing me by the feet and pulling me out of the ring, and just, you know, it made me.
Oh yeah, the smile on your face when you was walking out with them two after it was over, after the match was over, you guys were exiting. Just a smile on your
Well,
face.
coming in too.
Yeah, coming into. But I mean,
Yeah.
on the way out, it was
outstanding.
Yeah, it was.
Man, when you have two gods compliment you on your work, even though you weren't doing your best work, and they compliment you on your work, you know, that, come on, you know, that's equal to Honky Tonk Man handing you the signed guitar, you know. I mean, that you got, you know, after that match happened, I went back and watched so much footage of those guys working, and Barb is so goddamn strong. He is so fucking strong. But yeah, watching those two guys work is just outstanding. They still got it. They still got it. So, I wasn't pretending. I wasn't gonna hide it. I was living and loving right there at that moment.
It was awesome. I know that. Marcus, would you like to go?
Yep, I'm ready. We'll continue with the same day.
Who asked you to speak?
But Tony just did. If you quit drinking, you'd hear that. Anyhow, we'll go with the same day. Not only did you work with the Powers of Pain that day, but you actually got to meet one of your childhood heroes. Was that your first time meeting Demolition and
No.
Demolition Axe, especially?
No. That was the first time I'd met Barry Darsow. That was and Darsow's a mountain. I don't know if you guys have ever been. I mean, I know you guys have, but fans, if you've never been in the presence of Barry Darsow, he is a giant mountain of a man. He's ancient, but my God, he's huge. And I know that 90% of that's probably his underlying health issues, but he's still a massive human being. And you could, when you look at his eyes, you can see Crusher Khrushchev. You can see that killer instinct still. And that's one thing the people who you just worship Demolition don't see through the gimmick. I see through the gimmick. I see exactly who I'm looking at. And as much respect as I have for Smash, in all the work that they did, Crusher Khrushchev is where his bread and butter was. That's where the legend of wrestling comes into play. Being part of Ivan Koloff and Nikita Koloff, that you can't ask for that for anybody. He got to be part of that. So if you don't show that part of his career respect, then the rest of his career doesn't matter. Same thing goes for Demolition Axe. This was the second time I got to meet Axe. Okay, the first time I met Axe was when I was a kid, back in the late mid '90s. Okay, Deep South Wrestling. He had left the Fed. All right, he left the Fed. He was touring Deep South Wrestling as part of Destruction Incorporated with Skandar Akbar and all those people. And I got to meet him as a kid, and he absolutely outstanding human being. I got his action figure over here in the corner, and his wrist tape is wrapped around the action figure from that very night. He tore it off and threw it on the ground in frustration, and I snatched it up, and I still got it. And then he autographed my cardboard sign that I had made, cutting out pieces of the WWF magazine. And I took it with me to the DCCW show, and I showed them. And Axe was blown away. He's like, this thing has made it through 25 plus years of 30 years almost of me holding on to this. It survived floods. It's survived a dozen moves, and he was rather impressed. So then Darsow looks at me, and it wasn't, do you want me to sign that? It was, may I sign that? And I'm like, here you go. So now I got both of them to sign something, that a piece of me that's 30 friggin' years old. Dude, it was heaven that day. And Jimmy Hart on top of it, getting to shake hands with Mouth of the South. The Andy Kaufman connection. I've shook hands with history. You can't ask for a better day than that. Come on.
It was awesome. It was an awesome day, awesome show. And you talk about Axe. I remember watching him in Georgia Championship Wrestling as the Masked Superstar. So that's what I remember him as, and I was a big Superstar fan. So
we were talking in the back that day, and I sat down next to a guy that, I mean, legit. If not for him, I probably would have never gotten the business. Right, legit, because I had such a love for his work. I sat down with him and I told him I'm going to steal his oxygen. I'm going to sit here and steal your oxygen for a minute. And I asked him some questions, and a lot of it went back to when he was a Mongol. He started out as Bolo Mongol, Gino and Bolo Mongol, and it was his trainer and his mentor. And at the time, the reason why Mad Superstar happened was because the other half of the Mongols wanted to leave the territory, and he wanted to stay. And then the promoters like, well, we got to do something with you. And at the time, I think he said the spoiler. I think it's what I think that's who it was. The spoiler was leaving the territory. He fled the territory, and they needed to fill that gap with a new masked superstar, and that's exactly what happened. Was they put a mask on him to cover up his face, so no one knew he was a Mongol, and he became the biggest name in Georgia wrestling because there was a void, and he filled it. And he said he was trained on the fly during that time period. So as much as we love watching the Masked Superstar, he was legit being trained in public to be that guy. And so yeah, it was a great talk to have with him, face to face. And I thanked him for his time, and I thanked him for all the memories. I always thank those guys, no matter who they are, except for Bruce Beefcake, because I always get nowhere near that guy. But whenever I cross paths with them, I always shake the hand and I thank them for their service. Not because they're servicemen, but because they give up their lives, they give up their family, they give up everything so that we can be entertained. And if you cannot be grateful for that, then you deserve to have any part in the business, let alone being a fan in the first place.
And you got to introduce your son to Demolition.
I did. And then
Yes, I seen that. I wish I had the camera at the time, but the camera wasn't with me. It was still at the table. So.
Oh, yeah. To have my little boy between the two guys that made me want it more than anything. That dude. No, that was gold. Absolute gold.
Mm-hmm.
All right, we have a few comments in here. Reggie wants to know if Vinny can talk about the amazing riff that he had during his Black Friday match against Blake Wright.
I would like Reggie to, 1, spell my name right. 2, quit putting yourself over. And 3, get some talent. Listen to me very carefully. Okay? I don't care about Reggie. I've been talking about going back to the ring for 2 weeks now. I got not one phone call. This thing works 2 ways, you fat piece of garbage. No one's called me. No one's texted me. No one's asked how I'm doing. That's what I think about Reggie right there.
Can you see that? Reggie got the flying bird.
And then
speaking of bird, look.
Mike King says, remember that time you watched Mike King?
Mike King. Listen, I love telling the story about Mike King and my first time meeting Mike King. This little shit, and he was a little shit, all right? He was like a quarter of the size he is now. He's right now he's like 4 Ronnie Vegases. I think back then he was like half a Ronnie Vegas. So he's dressed up in his traditional garb, which is knockoff Skip Radisson. And he's tagged. I got a Popeye Tony.
Yeah, you did.
I'm tagged up with him, and I'm working Hank Calhoun. I think I can't remember. I've been drunk since then. And I was wrestling some guy who was dressed exactly like me. He was wearing a wife beater with a white button-up shirt and a pair of suspenders and black slacks. And Pafo, the stupid idiot, couldn't go, you guys look pretty similar. I might want to switch these teams and see how it works. No, he puts us at opposite ends of the fucking ring and makes it work. And it's, you know what? This is why you're never going to be bigger than a toadstool. So yeah, that was the first day I met Mike King as far as ring action, and he's been like not rabies, he's been like herpes ever since. I just can't get rid of him. So yeah, no, he can run his mouth all he wants to, but the fact of the matter is, if it wasn't for me, there'd be no Mike King. So bite me.
Oh man. Well, you brought it up.
I got to him. So I'm good with that.
Well, you brought it up.
Yeah.
Bachelor Memorial Night 2, you were in the ring with VIP, Itch, and TJ Powers, and across the ring was Joey, Mike, and the young one, Blake Money Wright. Tell us about that night. You had 5 veterans, and you had Blake.
I can't remember a damn bit of that. not a bit. I'm not playing with you guys. I don't remember a damn bit of it. I remember the VIP matches that we had. Oh, okay. Now I remember. Okay, we're talking about the outside show. Okay.
Yeah, outside it was
Oh,
it
yeah.
was the second night of the
Yeah.
Bachelor Memorial.
Okay, I'm awake now. All right. So yeah, that match in and of itself was just love. It wasn't really so much a wrestling match as it was just going out there and putting on a match, putting on a performance for Bastion. The match itself, it was entertaining as all get out. It had it, especially at the end of it, the battle royal at the end of it. But the match itself was super entertaining, and getting to work with my guys and having to share the ring with Joey and friggin' Mike King and Blake. You couldn't ask for better guys. You couldn't. All that talent in one place. I was just happy to be part of it.
Yep, it was a good night.
Oh, okay.
We'll
now
get there,
now
Reggie.
Reggie's mad at me. Listen, listen.
Don't take that to heart.
All right. Look. I'm not. Let's talk about that for a minute. All right. So, my back was injured with Rachel Armstrong. My back was re-injured severely at the hands of a guy that we're not going to talk about, and I didn't foresee myself getting back in the ring. I'd lost my job back in a December ago. Right, I lost my job, and I was looking for something to pay bills, but also something that I wanted to do. And I was between jobs, and I'm like, I'm going to start building this Twitch thing. And I started into it, not knowing how much work it actually is, and how much capital you got to have to be successful in the first place. But I was using it kind of as an escape, really, at first, because I was using Vinny as a mask, because the layoff depressed me. The back injury made it worse, and then when we got to July, it just imploded, and I compounded in on myself and just buried myself deep. And I went to work every day. I got up every day. I fed myself. I clothed myself. I took care of my kids, but I was not alive. That's the only way I can describe it to you, is I was not alive. I was a walking, talking zombie. I was going through the motions, and I was not functional. The depth of depression, I had no clue even had a hold of me. Right? I thought it was bad in December, and then I kicked it. By the time I got to that show with Powers of Pain, I really thought I kicked it. But then July happened, and then, getting into this new job and having a good time. I mean, I'm well paid. I thought I was fine, but in reality, I was just going through the motions. And we're using Vinny as this mask. So I finally break it this past December, right? And it was an act of kindness that broke the depression. It was completely blindsided me. I was not expecting that kind of emotion to come out of me, and when it did, it shocked me. And whatever was still alive in me, it sparked that little bit to come out and see daylight. And after I got back out, I realized what had happened. I realized where I'd been, and I was alive again. I don't know how better I can explain it to you guys, but I was a walking, talking corpse. And then I could feel, I could hear, I could smell. I still can't see where the shit, but I could feel music. I could sensation, and it was amazing. I'm not going to go back, because it's like, no, I need to quit eating. I need to get my health in check. I need to get back on my feet. I need to go back to the ring. And it's from December to here that brought me to the feet of Gonzo Sports Room.
And you're doing weight training again, right? Did I understand that right?
Yes. So I'm working out every day, except obviously today because I'm busy with you assholes. But I'm doing 100 reps. And granted, you're looking at me going, really, Vinny? Really? It's 10 pounds? Really? You do 100 reps, 10 pounds in a row and see how you feel afterwards. I'm just now getting to where I'm breaking 120, 130, 140 some days. And then some days you get to 80 and you're like, well, shit, that's all I got. But, instead of doing multiple sets of 10 reps or 20 reps, I'm doing as many as I can until failure, and I'm getting the power back. I feel better. The elliptical, I'm not just riding it, thump, thump, thump. I'm actually moving my legs and following the elliptical and burning the calories. I'm still not working the heart very well, but I hit the heavy bag last week and dicked this shoulder up a little bit, but I hit the heavy bag last week and I rocked that fucking heavy bag. So the power is definitely coming back. The weight training is one thing, but the weight loss is another thing. The fasting, the proper nutrition. I was 191 before this interview. 191. I was 215 at the beginning of the year. All right, that's progress. So, I can fit in my good in my gear. I'm ready to go to the ring. I think whoever I get stuck in the ring with on, this weekend, it's going to be real sorry they met me.
All right. Mike King had another comment here. Said every time you're sore, you say you're severely injured. Why?
You're gonna make him choke.
Well, if my ass wasn't always sore, it wouldn't always be severely injured, now would it?
Tony's got butt cream for that, but anyhow.
And then Dalton Love also says Vinny coming back to give some of these dorks the rub.
That's right, dude. That's right. Some of these guys have never seen the likes of me. They've heard about it. They've seen video. They've heard legends. They've never seen it live and in living color. And, some of these guys can talk all day long. You got big names in the locker rooms. You got your JKOs, your Joey Owenses, You got your Mike Kings. You got your TJ Powers. You got your Pogos. You got these guys that have been around for decades, and they can tell you all day long to your face that this is how it's done. This is how we used to do it. And then you put me in front of them, and they realize, oh shit, there's one of these old fuckers that can still actually do it. And that's when the lights come on, and they go, no, we fucked up. No, we fucked up. Let's go back and figure out what we fucked up. It'll happen. Trust me. There's going to be a couple of these guys that are going to line up against me. They're going to go, it's an old guy, but take it easy. And then the first 4 or 5 rounds into their ribs, and they go, nope, he's not fucking around. They'll wake up real fast.
So, what do you think of the talent today? Especially, we're just getting your opinion now. Zay Gates and Hadari are probably 2 of the top talent, and I know that'll tick off some people, but if you've seen what those 2 are doing right now, where they were a year ago, are you following them at all?
Okay, well, Zay Gates was still just wiping the mat and lacing boots when I walked away. He was trying real hard, but he was just the lightweight punk getting pushed around the ring when I left a year ago. Hadari, on the other hand, I beat that son of a bitch. I couldn't tell you how many times. He's an absolute monster. He's impressive to watch. He's got a great gimmick. But man, I don't care how big you are and how scary you are. I've outsmarted him on multiple occasions. Okay? If you remember the time that I had to give him the Baron Breaker 3 friggin' times to kill him, I could outsmart him. He doesn't scare me. He doesn't concern me not one bit. But on the other hand, when you talk about newer talent, and we're talking about someone like Timmy, great big Timmy, right? A walking billboard, louder than me, and 10 times as ugly. All right. And he was just getting his first matches in when I walked away. I think that one in particular needs to be addressed. That one in particular needs to be shown what it means to be humbled at the hands of someone who knows what the hell they're doing. Okay. I don't care how big you are, how strong you are, how fast you may think you are. When I break you down to my size, it doesn't matter. It don't matter one damn bit. So, whether you're Baron Von Kane or you're Austin James or you're Dice Man Ronnie Vegas or you're Mike King, I don't care how damn big you are. You all are the same size when I knock you flat on your ass. Right? So I haven't been paying much attention to the new talent that's out there. I've seen the Jake Phoenix was coming in right when I walked away. There's a couple of new guys that have popped in since I've been gone, and a lot of my legendary friends and brothers have now since gone away. So that leaves a lot of void to fill. Now, so yeah, there's talent out there that needs a piece of me in their life, and I'm going to give it to them. And I there's one in particular though that's an old school talent that needs to be addressed as well, and that's Mitchell Taylor. All right, King Mitch, yeah, right. Am I talking to myself?
No, you're right.
All right. So
Yeah, you're right.
So King
We're
Bitch.
just curious where you're going with this.
So King Bitch, he's got all this notoriety now from one end of Indiana to the other, and he shows up, looks like he's ate one more Whopper than he did last time, and I was told at one point that he was greater than me, and I'm like, no, my friend, no. There's no getting greater than Vinny Bichetti. There's no getting greater than the top of the apex of villainy. So that one also. So the bottom line is this: it doesn't matter who you are. I'm not choosing sides for the end of my career. The assault to the Hall of Fame doesn't go through the face path or the heel path. It goes straight up your backside as I stomp a mud hole straight up on my way to the top to knock down the doors of the Hall of Fame and take what's rightfully mine.
It sounds like you got a couple guys already on your mind that you want to go through.
Oh yes, and there's going to be some nights where I'm going to take multiple opponents out at a time. I don't I don't play fair. All right. That's the thing about me is I kill people. Go back and look at footage, whether it's Max Sterling or it's Jackson Morgan, or I tried to kill Buck Sexton that one time, and my dumbass brother knocked me in the back of the head and put me in the casket. I used to put people in the ground. So no, I'm not going to play fair. I'm going to take what's mine, and I don't care whose feelings I hurt to get there. Either the fans are with the mob or they're not. I give two shits.
Chris, you want to put that question Jake Elliott put on there?
Yes, I can do that.
Look, he's got the poker chip.
I do.
The famous poker chip to come back from Colorado.
What's his name now? Tell me his name again.
Got one sitting right here.
That's Jake Elliott.
Jake Elliott. Is he new, or was he around when I was still working?
I think he started being around a lot more right as about the time that you.
He worked a lot of AACW, but he's only been at the Dub maybe. I don't think you and him were at the Dub at the same time.
Yeah, okay. I think it was after Vinny already had been at the Dub.
Yeah. Okay, well, Jake Elliott, here's my answer to that. My advice always depends on the subject. All right, I can't give you the same advice that I would give the next guy because you got a gimmick and this guy is a technical wrestler. Okay, Or this guy's a high flyer who does this, but this guy's got the psychology figured out, but he doesn't know how to work. So everybody's advice is unique to them. And I'm getting lag, and I apologize for that. The Vinternet seems to have struck me again. Let me know when I catch up. There we go. I'm caught up now. Oh my God! Don't stop.
that was actually pretty awesome.
Yeah. No, the Vinternet is a thing. So no, all of the advice is strictly for the person that I'm talking to at the time. So when you meet me in the locker room, and I'm sure some of you guys are going to hunt me down, and I welcome that. I want you guys to come and ask me personally what advice I can give you based on who you are, what you do, because I can't give you blanket advice. I don't know what you need. Okay, I do know one piece of blanket advice is this: slow the hell down. Nobody gives a shit about your 15 high spots. Why did you just do 15 high spots? So slow down, tell the story, involve the crowd. That's blanket advice right there.
I'm going to make this statement. Jake Elliott, I know you're listening. This is all love, but you've been told to slow down many times, and Vinny's not even met you, and that's the first thing he says.
Oh God!
Is to slow down.
No, okay, I'm gonna tie that back into your mental health. So I started playing with frequencies and vibrations. Okay, it is true. It is true, Mikey. So we are water and we are dust. When you put sand on a piece of metal and you vibrate it, you get a pattern, right? When you take water and you add sound to it, you get a pattern. So we are water and dirt, and when you add vibration to me, you're going to get a frequency modulation change. So you want to raise your vibration. I don't care if you raise your vibration through chemical means or not, but I suggest you do some work with your frequencies. Get on Spotify and start just play around with healing frequencies. Because, dude, I'm serious. It makes a difference, especially when you go to bed. You start getting into that pineal gland, you get into that deep sleep. It does make a friggin' world of difference. So when you said that I called him out, never even meeting him, I was psychically connecting to that kid and didn't even realize it. So that's the kind of thing I'm talking about. Everybody's connected, whether you like it or not. We're all energy, except for Marcus Fine, who's a big pile of shit. But no, the rest of you are just fine. Hey, look, I'm going to try and get over on Vinny because I can't get over by myself. Last time Mike King got over is when the nurse pushed him off his bedpan. Fuck that guy.
Okay, you want us to ask you about potential threats. Who are your potential threats that you see now?
That was a homework question, smartass. I don't know who's out there. You told me about AACW.
Hadari and Zay Gates are the top two talent in the state. The three of us will say that.
In the
Zay Gates is on some of the biggest names. I'd say so.
They've been on fire, and they're
In
wrestling
our area.
a lot of different about 4 or 5 promotions. I don't know if you can say.
And you got to throw Blake Money, right?
Yes.
Logan Myers.
Yeah, Logan Myers.
Logan Myers has really been
tearing it
on
up.
fire.
Yes.
I was going to say, if Zay Gates is in the top of the state, then everybody else must have died.
Now, Zay's on fire right now. He's taking on some big names, some big matches.
He's
in
on
the last 3 months, probably.
He's on fire. And have they tried putting him out? Because, that's not good for your health. Listen. I don't know who Zay Gates thinks he is, and I don't care. I really don't care. But when I show up and I decide that Zay Gates needs to have his hard drive realigned, I'm going to be the guy to do it. All right. So it doesn't matter what you've done in the past. It only matters what happens after that bell rings and I'm across the ring from you and you got no choice but to stare down the barrel of the 38 special and hope to God your neck doesn't come right apart when I twist your head off your shoulders.
I think a threat to you could be Hidari, because Hidari has a whole new attitude and a whole new vibe about him since that he's got while you were gone.
Does he speak English yet?
He's getting there.
A few words.
Yeah, I'll say.
Besides, feed me more?
He does say chicken.
Oh, I bet. Oh, I bet. I was gonna go deeper than that, but I probably better not. I don't want to get canceled already.
Yes.
God
Well,
bless
he's
him.
the current outlaw champion.
God bless him.
That matters.
You know, those are my belts. Damn it, those are my belts. The territorial. I was the territorial outlaw champion. It has never happened, but right here.
No, it's happened one other time.
Yeah, he's forgotten
Okay,
the history. If you're forgotten by history, it didn't matter in the first place. Uh-huh. Yeah. Yeah. Except for your fragile little ego. So you know, Mike King is on my list too. He knows it. He knows this for a fact that Mike King has his one-on-one coming with me. And he's going to have to deal with it, and he's not going to like it, because I don't care what Mr. Mike King says, well, this is what we're going to do, and this is how we're going to finish it. I'm sticking your ass to the canvas, Mike King, and I don't give a damn what you say. They can play your music when the bell rings, but I still stuck your ass to the canvas.
All right, Tony, you're up. I don't know how to follow that.
Well, real quick, we did have another comment on there said that they thought Brody Botkins would be a good guy that maybe you could go after. Brody, who just come back here recently from being trained with Dustin Rhodes, spent about 6 months, I think, out there in Texas. So spent quite a while out there, didn't he?
Brody's
He was
one of
out there
those
for-
talents.
He's out there for
3 months. Okay, sorry.
The Brody's one of those talents that he was doing things, but you know, no one really got him proper training, and I just say it the way it is. You know, he wasn't given the proper opportunity. He wasn't given proper training, and he got hurt. I remember that he was hurt real bad, and that was the last time I'd seen him. You know, he was just coming by the dub to visit. I think maybe he had a battle royal experience right there towards the end of me hanging out. And so no, that's definitely one that could stand to learn a few things from someone who's got miles upon miles of knocking giants on their ass. Okay, so the thing I gotta tell giants is very, very easy. I tell Hidari this all the time. I was trying to tell Split Rail this is yes, we all like to see bumps. You have to sell the fact that you're a giant. The rest of us are all 5 foot, whatever, and you're 6 foot something, and you're a monster. You should never, ever leave your feet. And when you do, it needs to be a meaningful exchange, not just something that happens, not just because, you know, maybe you lost your footing, maybe you knocked the wind out of you. Those types of things happen, but you should never leave your feet for a smaller guy. These big guys, you know, trying to be Big Show or trying to be Kali and trying to keep up the pace with the smaller talent. That is not what giants are designed for. They're designed to be walking, talking menaces. Okay? In order to sell a good guy as an underdog, you have to look like you're undefeatable. And you could sell tickets like that from now to perpetuity. People still want to see the Hulk Hogan Andre thing. Don't let them bullshit you. People still want to see that shit. We're just all out of Andres. So you got to bring the scale down a little bit more. Not to itch level. We get to itch level, then we're into micro wrestling. But when I'm gonna get a phone call. It's ringing now. God damn it. So you got to bring the scale down, but it's the same story. All right, don't leave your feet. You're a menace to everybody. You don't get beat. You don't get your back stuck to the canvas. You get count outs. You get disqualified. You play the game. You play the game. You wrestle the match. You tell the story. You don't have to go to pinfall every goddamn show. Stop it. But tell the story. Be a giant. Do better than the last guy. It's micro.
I did have a question. What did you think about JKO losing his chairman status?
I heard about that, and I saw that match, and I kind of giggled when I first seen it. I'm like, you guys are fucking stupid. There's no way he's going to lose that match. What happened, it was me and him at the Christmas show the year before this past. And it was that cage match where it was the brand new belt. It was the first time that I got to hold the brand new belt, right? And then that bastard slid over top of me and dove out of the cage like a snake he is. But, he was going around there for a while as the last outlaw, which I think is a better title, personally. But me, personally, it's your dad's title, and you're just taking it forward. I like that one a lot, but the chairman was kind of his thing, but the story itself between him and Powers and Powers taking it, I didn't see that coming. Nobody saw that coming. That's been Joey's thing forever. So yeah, I was on the phone with TJ last night, matter of fact, talking about some things, and no, it never came up a conversation, but yeah, he's the chairman now, and that's, yeah, I mean, I guess it's better than saying I need a crutch to get to the ring, but still, it's good on him that he's got something to call that walking stick he calls a chair.
Okay.
Let's go with that route. Can I throw one in there?
Yeah.
Well, let's go to the next generation. Now tell us your thoughts about IK3 and if there's any thoughts about getting in the ring with him. And
I could go on this subject for days and days and days and days and days. Let's go back to one of my most, and some people will think this is probably the most embarrassing portion of my career, and that is not even close. I have a whole portion of embarrassing moments in my career. This was not it, but the Revolution was considered frowned upon by most of the people in the business because they thought of it as a joke. But what was I doing? I was taking my status and I was pushing the young guys up the roster because you had Ichiko Moida holding onto a belt, you had Basher holding onto a belt. You had guys who have been in the business longer than most of us have even gone to school, and he's holding on to these titles and he's not allowing the new generation to come up. I used the Revolution both to get Baron's ass back in the ring and to get the young guys, IK3 included, up the roster, and I did it. They were on their way to being tag champions until I fucked them. But that's what I do because I'm the dirty bastard. But that's where it starts with me at IK3. I've been working with him since before he was legally allowed to wrestle. And he has never one time got in the ring with me. Not one time. There might have been a battle royal happenstance here and there that I'm not aware of. That, if I think hard enough, I might be able to picture it. Like Sicily, 1918. But he has never been in the ring with me. And I always found it to be slightly disrespectful. And I know he's got his issues, and I know he's got his reasonings, and I know he's got his way of wrestling. But if I can put up with Blake, I can put up with him. You know what I'm saying? So I realize strong style is a lot more violent than I'm used to. And at my age, it's probably not the smartest idea to go into a match against someone who's legit gonna kick my ass. But to be able to say I wrestled not only Ron Owens, but Joey Owens and IK3, that's Hall of Fame material right there, Jack.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Absolutely.
I agree. He's the since we've been doing this, he's the best one I've seen. I was telling these guys last week, when you watch him and then you watch these other guys, it looks different.
Yes. Yes. And I said it for years. I said it for years when he first started getting that notoriety, and he was going to the different organizations on the East Coast and this and that and the other. And I said it. I said it then. I say it now. He's like Canyon. He's the innovator of offense, right? He's a technically sound wrestler. He puts together really great moments. He tells really good stories, and most of all, not only is he doing all of these moves that most people wouldn't dream of doing, even on a video game. The shit he's doing makes sense because of where he came from. Okay, so I love watching him, and I to my core despise what happened to him. I really wish he'd have made it, but no. As someone who both respects him immensely and has nothing but love for the guy, when he crosses my path and gets in the ring with me, he's going to come to understand real quick that I don't care how talented you think you are, I'm always one step ahead of everybody.
Well, you've been answering some of these questions here. Anybody that you really would like to work with that you haven't?
That I haven't got to work with yet. Oh, Beaver Boys, the J Beef. J Beef is the last one on my original list that I said I needed to run through before I was done. And I saw him at the show there at DCCW with the Powers of Pain. And I told him, I said, dude, you were the last one on the list. You were. And I never got to have it. So that's one, and he knows it. I told him right to his face. I said, one day you're gonna get booked for a show, and you're gonna be booked for a match, and you're gonna talk for a half hour about what you're gonna do when you get out there, and then when you go out to the ring first, and then that second music hits, and it's not the right guy, and it clicks that you've been Vinnied, you're gonna have to figure out real quick what you're gonna do because you haven't got a clue how this match is gonna go. And that's the kind of challenge that I give to people. Ask Mac Sterling. Mac Sterling's one that I did that too. Maliko. Yeah, I've burnt through enough Samoans. I ain't afraid of no Maliko. But yeah, ask Mac Sterling. Once you've killed Fiji Wildman, no other Samoans matter. The Max Sterling was the last one I can remember where we booked him and he thought for sure he had the match figured out and he was inside of a steel cage. And then my music hit and you can see the look at his face where he's like, I just got ribbed. Now what am I doing? Now you have to walk and talk and you have to listen because I know the answer and you don't. So you can either fight for your life and hope like hell you survive, or you can listen and you can learn. And that's what I use most of those moments for, is that now that you cannot go on the script, you have to think for yourself. You have to tell the story for yourself. Now I'm forcing you to walk and talk. And sometimes you got to you got to throw them out of the tree and make them fly. You know what I'm saying?
We have another question here in the comment section. This one comes from Kelly Fine.
Wonder who stick that in there.
She wants to know who your favorite is. Kelly.
See, he's wanting to be a tough guy, but everybody's afraid of Kelly. So,
I like bullet wounds, but not in me. That's all I gotta say.
And then you had mentioned about coming back, and you mentioned this weekend a couple times, but is there any feds that maybe you haven't worked at or that you're have worked at before that you'd like to make a return to?
I'm sure some of these guys are watching right now, and I'm still pissed off that none of you have called me, texted me, wrote me a letter, sent a carrier pigeon, or even a strippogram. Any of those things would have counted. But no, I got no connection.
Like we get a strippogram. Sorry.
I got no connections in the wrestling world that give a shit about Vinny Bichetti. That's what I hear. That's what I found out was, hey, Vinny wants to come back. Fuck him. That's what I heard. That's exactly what I heard. That's exactly what I heard. So when I talk about loyalty, when you talk about respect, when you talk about where I've been, none of that matters. I don't care what organization you're at. I do not care what story you're telling. When I go to the ring, I tell my own story. I don't give a shit what you're talking about. So I want to go back to Grindhouse. One time, I want to go down to Grindhouse and say that I did it. One more time. I want to go to AACW and pay them a visit because they absolutely deserve my presence at least one time. Okay? I want to go to FEW because now that the poison's gone, I think I would like to have that on my tombstone that I got to work in Rob Kincaid's organization. I never got to work for CCW, and that's a damn shame. I got to work under Rob and Steve Branham, but I did not work for CCW. So there are a lot of places out there that I could invade for no reason. What's that guy's name? Sam Knight? Is that his name? I can never remember his name because all I could hear is how big his ego is. But Sam Knight's got a place. I got to go visit Sam Knight. You know, there's this Aaron Atlas schmuck who got this Mount Olympus thing, and you know, those guys need an attitude adjustment. So there's countless amounts of idiots out there in the wrestling business that have never stepped foot in the ring with Vinny Bichetti and have no clue how to deal with me. Aaron has, but that was 20 years ago. 2 or 3. So, so yeah, you know, there's a lot of places I can go. I'm going to go to Reggie's house and kick his ass at this point. That's what I'm going to do.
Yeah, I'd pay to see that.
Yeah, wouldn't everybody? So yeah, there's all kinds of places I can show up, and you never know. Could I go to Kentucky? Could I go to Ohio? I could just, Fiji's been trying to get me to kick his ass for years. Like, please come down here to Kentucky, get your license, and kick my ass. He's been begging me for years. And I'm much more of the kind of person like, here's $200, drag your fat monkey ass up to me, and I'll kick it up here. That's the kind of person I am. But, it's fine. Fiji and I are like oil and water. We go great when we're in the same jar, but we do not get along. So, but yeah, there's no telling where I'm going to end up, and I'm not going to give it away. I'm not going to even let on because you guys didn't give a shit enough to call me. Therefore, when I show up and I go, all right, here I am, deal with it. You're just going to have to deal with it.
This may be a tough question for you, but your Mount Rushmore of independent wrestlers.
All right, but for what era? The modern era?
Marcus, what do you think?
Do one from 2000s to 210s, and then do the ones from 210s to current. We're talking independence.
Oh yeah. Well, back in those days, you had the high rollers. The high rollers were the icons of professional wrestling at the time. Ronnie Vegas and T.J. Powers and Austin James. Those three guys basically made wrestling for a lot of us. a lot of us. The Bobo Rizzo Jr. That those are the guys that you paid to go see because those are the big names. The rest of the schmucks on the card were just fluff. Your Itch Comoitas, back in the green hair days, when he was still flipping over the top rope and shit. That's the kind of guys who made wrestling what it was in the 2000s. Sorry, from the 2000s to the 2010s era, for sure. And sometimes into the 90s, But those guys are what made wrestling entertaining. You didn't go to the show to watch Skull Crusher and yeah, I did it on purpose. You didn't go there to see you didn't go there to see the Zay Gates. You didn't go there to see your flippy fly red rockets or what have you. You went there to see the big names, and those were the big names, all right. But that was a different time period. That was early internet. That was before kayfabe was really destroyed, and there was still a mystique about those guys, But from 2010 forward, man, so that whole time period was full of a lot of good talent. You really got to break it up to be perfectly honest, but that was a transition period, if you know what I'm saying. There was a lot that with the internet age and wrestling was changing. The fall of WCW and the rise of the PG era, and then the wrestling tried to get more violent, and then it tried to come back the other way. So independently in that time frame, man, I was working shows, and the names, Joey Owens was running the program back in those days. He was the big name everybody wanted to go see. So guys like that, and I have to rack my brain to remember a couple of the other ones. Some of them, who deserve to be mentioned for their work are not going to get mentioned because of their attitude and what they've done in their personal life. But there's names out there that people know who I'm talking about that made a mark on professional wrestling in that time period, and then through their own personal malfeasance, have erased their own careers, so to speak. Now, if you're talking about from the last couple of years, though, your Nate Matthews, as full of himself as he is, the man is a fantastic friggin' experience to watch. Okay, he every time I've watched him work, it's always been fun. I've never gotten bored watching Nate Matthews. Blake Money Wright, another great talent. I never get tired of watching. Always got something going on. Always got a story to tell. Always putting 120%. And your IK3. IK3 deserves to be on the Mount Rushmore. And then the Iron Demon, Shane Mercer. That guy. So Kong would go from 2010 to 2020. But Shane Mercer is a absolute must watch for independent wrestling. Okay, you need to at least take in one of his shows one time because he's a unique specimen in that ring. Justin Kyle before 2020. Justin Kyle was one of those guys that was absolutely unique specimen to watch when he wrestled.
Okay. Something that people would be surprised to know about you.
Surprised to know about me. Something I talk about everything about me on my streams, and by the by, if you've gotten this far in the interview, twitch.tv/VinnyMachete, for the love of God. I do a lot of one-on-one with my fans. I surprised, shocked to know about me. You know, there's not a whole lot about me that I haven't already talked about.
All right. Well, then tell us some of those embarrassing moments you were talking about earlier.
the time that I was wrestling TJ Powers and he snapped me and I landed on my ass and I split my slacks and my
I
underwear.
was there.
You were there
I
for
was
that.
there.
You know that's a good embarrassing moment. God, having to manage Skip Radisson, that was always an embarrassing time period. Being Skip Radisson's tag team partner, that was very embarrassing.
You realize I have a photo if you really want to get embarrassing.
Oh yeah, I know. God bless America. No, there's a lot of good Lord. Um, man, there was my very first match where I was gonna throw up in the end of it. You know, there was so much about my early wrestling career that was embarrassing. Okay, so I was wrestling Top Notch, and I was doing 2 matches at a time. And it was the Butcher at the beginning of the show and Vinny later on in the show. And I was standing in the gorilla position. And at the time, Top Notch had an actual gorilla position, like it was a curtain within a curtain. And we were standing there talking, and I'm standing there with my meat pan on my shoulder. And I had totally forgotten what I was doing. Totally forgot what I was doing.
How fast is it?
Am I there now? Okay.
Good.
I totally forgot I was the Butcher, and I had my meat pan on my shoulder like my cane, and I went through the curtain to Butcher's music, and I was Vinny Machete in a mask, and I was like, oh, I fucked this up, and yeah, that was the last time the Butcher was allowed to be on a card. Period. Oh yeah, I did some dumb shit, dumb shit. Good Lord.
Tell us about taking the pan from Cameron Starr.
Oh man, yeah, Cameron, me and Cammy doing battle at in MRW early on in the show outside at the in Chesterfield. I'm wrestling Cameron Starr, and I drilled her, and she drilled me back, and man, she hit me right here in the socket and busted me open underneath the mask. And the medic, you know, we're at the VFW, right? One of the old fucking medics comes over with a kit and butterflies my face closed because I was just busted open.
I got pictures of that too. I gotta find them.
And
Who's been the hardest hitter? Who's probably like maybe the person that actually really knocked the shit out of you the most throughout in your career?
well, I see. Fiji doesn't. I mean, we can't communicate, so Fiji hits really hard. Baron, after I pissed him off, Baron would drill me, and it would light me up a few times. Obviously, Joey Owens. Obviously, TJ Powers. Basher when he was having a bad day. Pogo any day of the week, and he just feels like being angry with you. Um, Blake Money Wright, when he kicks you, I mean, he kicks you. He kicked me in the chest, and that's about. I was expecting 3. He kicked me the first time, and I lost all composure. And he was like, "Yeah, okay, you get one." I did. I totally went like, "No, I'm not doing more than one." And he's like, "Yeah, no, you're getting one." You know, man. You could ask Mike Lee that day I wrestled with Dutch Boy, and I'm laying there, and he's like, "Vinny, are you okay? Are you okay, Vin?" And I go, "He hits really hard. I'm having a great time."
You and Dutch beat the hell out of each other at that match.
We did. That was all love too. That was all love. That was absolutely a blast. That match is on YouTube. I got to find that one and post it because that was one of them brutal ones that you got to watch over and over again. But Baron inside of the cage, Baron was very rough, very rough. But yeah, those guys like that hit you just way too damn hard. Yep. Ooh. Flashbacks.
But them guys probably say the same thing about you.
Oh shit! You got young guys who don't like working with me because I hit too hard. There's young guys who go through flaming tables of thumbtacks that look at me and they go, Benny, you got to soften up, dude. You hit way too hard. I can't take it. I can't take it. Like, listen, it's the wrestling business, all right? We're in an actual fight right now, and you better figure it out. You don't like it, then you get to leave, and I get to win by count out. That's the way this works. There's a lot of guys who didn't even comprehend that they were in a wrestling match, didn't understand how to sell, didn't understand how to make the crowd believe what was going on until I drilled them for real. And
I guarantee they feel those Machete body shots in the corner.
And you watch that match with Cal Hero and Al Snow is yelling in the background, I will pay you to hit him harder. and I just looked at Al and I'm like, you got it, dude. By that time he was already down, you know. But no, there's guys, and you could ask Blake the same thing. There's a number of guys that until I drilled them and made them understand that response of, oh God, I'm in an actual fight. They didn't understand what they were doing with the whole, why they had to sell, why this was important, why they had to do this until they were in an actual fight. And they go, okay, now I get it. Now I get why I have to do what I have to do. So yeah, there's many guys who didn't understand, didn't comprehend professional wrestling until me.
Favorite food?
Oh, steak, and steak, and then right after that, steak for dessert.
What about favorite music?
I'm an alt rock individual. I come from the, you know, I'm a Gen Xer, so I come from the time period of the new rock alternative was the anti everything. I just didn't realize how into anarchy I was going to actually get until politics made me an anarchist. But yeah, that's my whole jam. I go all the way from Pearl Jam to oh damn it, I had it, I lost it. Nope, can't say it. I can see the word, can't say it. But shit. You know, Disturbed obviously is more new. I can't say the word. I can see the word. Amber. It starts with an A.
Aerosmith?
No, it's a
See,
it's a modern band.
I know he's talking about, but I can't think of the damn.
I can't think of the damn word now. But yeah, it's not Amon Amarth either. But Amaranth. Is that how you say it? It's a female lead.
Oh, I know what he's talking about.
Yeah.
I know what you're talking about.
Evanescence drags you into Amaranth is what it does. But you know, that whole span of alt rock is where I live.
That's surprising to me.
I listen to a lot of that stuff. I love the 90s alternative grunge rock.
Yes. Why is that surprising to you? Did you expect Sinatra, you schmuck?
Yep, I did. I'm a schmuck. Sorry.
I'm more of a Dean Martin guy. Is
okay.
You know, but yeah, Dean. I mean, hell, you got Dean and Jerry. You got the clown and a straight man. It as the story tells itself. But yeah, you know, that's I like the Rat Pack. Don't get me wrong. I'm a big fan of their work. But no, when I'm grinding out calories, it's new rock alternative.
Marcus, did you have anything else?
Nope, my list. I think we covered it.
You covered it. So wait a minute. Wait. You think we're done? You think we're done? I'm going to ask a question to you three idiots. I'm going to ask a question to all my mobsters out there in TV land. Do you really believe that I've gone this long and not been allowed in the Hall of Fame? Do you understand that people around me that I helped create to help get there, whether it's the high rollers, or it's that guy we're not going to talk about, or it's any countless friggin' itch couple leader in JKO, and the list goes on and on. All these guys who are already in the Hall of Fame. How am I not already there? Answer me that.
Well, I think we've already discussed that.
You've
It
discussed
sounds
it
like
with me.
there might be some people colluding against you.
So, in professional wrestling, the fact of the matter is, when you go to the ring, there's a reason, there's a purpose. Why are you wrestling? It's not just a spectacle. We don't just wrestle for exposition matches. All right? We wrestle for a reason, to be top dog. I've already been the top dog. I've been double champion. I've done more in my time than most of these damn kids are going to do for the rest of theirs combined. All right? So from this point going forward, I give two damns about your shiny gold belt. You know what I'm after? I'm after your ring. I'm after your plaque. I'm after your certificate. I'm after your tax write-off. I want what you got that you wouldn't allow me to have until I get to the front door of the Hall of Fame with a bag full of goodies that belong to people who are already in it, and I light it on fire and say, this is why I need to be in the Hall of Fame.
Do you think there's some guys that are colluding against you? You think that's why you haven't been in the Hall of Fame yet?
Oh, I know damn well there's a bunch of people out there that do not like me in reality, let alone professional wrestling. And you know what I had to say to them? Tough shit. I'm not going anywhere. I deserve, after all my years of service, after all the people, the bloodshed, all the people that I've broken in, all the names that I've helped make, and you're going to tell me I don't deserve it? Listen, the one of the founding criteria of being in the Hall of Fame is, what did you do for the business or for others? And I can't think of another motherfucker besides me that puts in the love that they do for the young people of this business. And that is a spit in my face. And because of that, for the next year and a half that I step in the ring, I'm going to make every one of you suffer, whether you're young, old, rich, poor, male or female, or you're checking that other box. I'm going to beat the shit out of you and show the crowd why I am the Sicilian Strangler, the kingpin of kingpins, the one and only, the founding legend of the mob, Vincenzo Vachetti, baby.
So if I just caught that right, that means you're a year and a half. That would put you at the 25-year mark.
That's right, Dad. That's exactly right.
Is that the mark? The mark you're shooting for?
Yep. And that's where I'm going to bust the walls of the Hall of Fame down. And if they don't let me in, then nobody at that ceremony is getting a fucking plaque. And that is the truth.
I thought he was going to say nobody was ceremony was get the fuck out. And I was thinking, well, I don't know if we will be at that ceremony. They're not going to let me in.
Same thing.
Well, I agree with you 100%, Vinny.
It's the assault on the Hall of Fame. I give no damns about your personal little shiny gold belt that you bought off of Amazon. Nobody gives a shit. Roman Reigns already proved that belts don't mean diddly fuck. I'm going to prove a point. And the point is this. And I don't care how big you are, how little you are, how much pain you can withstand. I'm going to whip every single bastard they put in front of me to prove once and for all that there's nothing left for me to do but to take my ring and go the fuck home.
All right. Was there anything that we didn't cover that you wanted to talk about today?
No, I think we got it all now. I had to patch that hole at the end, but now for all of my fans out there, all my mobsters, And all the people who hate me, please come see me. Twitch.tv/VinnyVichetti. Please follow. Please watch me. I play video games. Me and Vinny hang out. We talk about wrestling. We talk about what I'm doing with my personal health. And we discuss other people's well-being and health. And we have a really good time. So please, 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 as someone who is going to finish his career on a high note and then use Twitch to be entertaining from that point forward, please come out and join the mob. I beg you.
All right, you got anything, Deb?
I'm good to go. Thank you very much for coming on with us, Vinny.
Marcus, you got anything
Nope,
you want
I'm
to add?
good. I'm good.
And thank you guys very much for having me. And also thank you for being the most respectful, not only podcast, but individuals in the wrestling business. And I say this, in the wrestling business, with all due respect, that you did more for me inside of a week than people that have known me for 30 years did for me in 2 weeks, knowing I wanted to get back in the ring. So much love to you guys.
No
Nope.
problem. You're welcome
No
to come on
problem.
anytime.
Yep, and like Vinny said, go check out his Twitch page. Please check out our Twitch page as well. Follow us on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, Twitter, Instagram, all at Gonzo Sports Room. Also on YouTube, please hit that subscribe button at Gonzo Sports Room. We greatly appreciate it. We will be at a wrestling show this weekend. I don't know if we'll be live yet or not.
Yep.
So we'll talk more about that tomorrow. That's about internet at the facility. But we appreciate everybody watching. This has been GWR with our special guest Vinny Vichetti, and we'll see you guys next time.
Well, I want to thank you guys very, very much. Let me get rid of this, or at least shrink this down. And I want to reiterate for those who usually watch my stream that this is not my usual setup. I set this up uniquely for the stream, and I know that the color is a little off, but I didn't realize that the cameras would not work independently. So I had to set up my laptop camera as well as my regular streaming camera, and clearly there's a focus issue. But that there was the color is way off. I'm sorry, guys, but that there was a glimpse of what good wrestling, good character work can do. I don't know how to give you any more insight than I have. The wrestling business is a lot of give and take. Okay, so yeah, I've kicked it off the wrong way. You have to give some, you got to take some. With the guys that I work with, those guys especially, Marcus is my longest serving fan. All right, while I've known Scottish for over a year, the Marcus Fine was at my first championship match, and he will be at my last, more than likely. These guys absolutely adore me as much as I love my mobsters. So, to have a day like this where I get to be me, you get to see Vinny. That was the most Vinny I've ever been. There was no mask. I dove in and out of character for the interview. I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't do that in public. I was doing other voices on purpose for storytelling purposes. But with full dick mode. Oh, dude, when the lights come on, I'm really fucking good. You haven't seen me in full lights yet because, man, they've got a Twitch page because I follow them on Gonzo Sports Room. I follow them on Twitch, so that's out there someplace. Yeah, because I clicked on it earlier. but anyway, no, you guys have not actually seen me in full on living color dick mode, right? I mean, I whipped out the Skip Radisson hammer, and I don't ever do that. That was very personal. The Skip Radisson thing is very personal. Um, there you go, baby. Thank you very much. But you know, Mike King, you know, any of those guys are I love all of them. And there's some guys that I've never been in the ring with that I not even spent time in the locker room with. But there's guys that I absolutely adore that I want to spend some time in the ring with before my career is over. So I hope that this little look at what wrestling does for me as a person was educational for you, because man, this is what I do. This is the inside bit that you don't get to see. Now, when I go to the show, and I'm not telling you which show, am I? Did I tell you which show? I didn't tell you guys which show, and I'm not going to tell you which show. When I go to the show this weekend, and I find a camera person, I pay them to be a good camera person. I will let you guys see what goes on in the back, as long as we got a good signal. Because man, they just said they're not sure they're going to have a signal. Hopefully, we get a good signal, and let you guys see what goes on. Because even that match that you guys got to watch me do with the Basher Memorial, I wasn't full on then. I was still in depression mode. So when we get to that point, you guys are going to see a whole different Vinny. Because being alive makes a huge difference. Huge difference. And I'm ready this time. I mean, physically, I'm putting on a little bit of mass, and it's not impressive to Mountain Man, because Mountain Man's huge. But when we talk about that, how fat I was and how much mass I've put on, I mean, the camera doesn't do it justice, but I mean, you can see it right there. The python's moving. I got this dimple in my forearm now that I can't figure out how that got there. I mean, that's from the curls. You guys are torturing me with curls. You guys are torturing me with the butterflies, torturing me with the presses, and it's building the mass. So I can feel it. I'm getting my wings back. I'm getting the wings developing again. So I'm never going to get to that 20-year-old frame. I mean, that's just cut and dry, not going to happen. But I've lost 20 pounds. I mean, check this shit out, guys. I'm not holding it in. I mean, it's just not there. Okay? I got a little bit of a poof right here, but I'm not huge anymore. So well played, my friend. Well played. I enjoyed that one. That was a good one. But yeah, no, I'm very happy, because I can see definition this way. Where you look down this way, I can see the expansion on both sides. Whereas before it was just an arm, and now I've got definition, and that's just from doing 100 of these every single day, 100 plus every single day. I do this one here too. I lay on my back on the floor, and I take the weights, and I go up and down like this, and I'm building my chest back up. Because when you're talking about picking somebody up and slamming them, you got to have some power, you got to have some control. So yeah, this is not blue, this is purple. Yeah, the color's way off, but I had to set this up on the fly, so I apologize for all that. Yeah, Marky got me. Marky got me. You're assuming that there's more than just a microtransaction there, Mountain Man. You really, You're really not cutting me much slack there, buddy. Give me more credit than I deserve. Okay. So, yeah, I put the tights on and everything. I mean, I'm wearing the spandex. I wasn't sure if I'm gonna have to get up. Here's my fat ass. There you go. There's my fat ass. There's my TikTok girl pose of the day. Yeah, I popped myself with that one. But no, this layout, you, you guys, this setup here. Let me take apart the images. Let me take apart the images. This setup I got right around the time that I couldn't get the Streamlabs to work. I got this off one of the sites you guys gave me, the Belfie. And I picked it up and I really fell in love with it, but I didn't know how to make it work. I didn't know how to add in my widgets and whatnot. So I never really worked on it. So I mean, clearly it doesn't work because Tim was the last person to subscribe, and it hasn't updated. So clearly it doesn't work. But yeah, I like the way it looks. It's very me. It's purple. It's got everything in it that screams me, but it's not updating. So I don't know. I gotta go back and work on that some more, I suppose. Purple. No, I like it. It works good as a like if I cut meat, you know. I suppose it would work if I was just playing a game where I didn't want you guys fucking with me the whole time, like if I'm playing Apex Legends or something, you know. But I like the way it looks. It's far more professional and far more me than what I anticipated. So if I just had a partner who would do the work while I was doing the labor, or vice versa. They're doing the labor while I'm doing the work. Yeah. That would make me happy, but you know, it is what it is. So, all right, I'm going to save this stream because this one was important. I really wanted more questions from the crowd. I don't know where Tim went. I told him to text me. And he was texting me, and he was in here, but he didn't ask me any questions. He told me he had a bunch of questions he wanted to ask. But yeah, no, that's okay. He subscribed, so we got a subscriber for the day. But I guess I owe Mountain Man a subscription. He's not currently showing an icon. But anyway, I got to get caught up with the kids, and I got to get cleaned up, ready to go to work. So let me get past the ad break. Every time I try to quit, they reel me back in. When the ad break stops, I'll come back. All right. We're back now. Okay. I was trying to go home and the referee cut me off. I hate when he does that. All right. So I want to thank all of my people, all of my mobsters for stopping in and saying hi and watching my interview. And please take this video and go share it once I publish it. Because man, we gotta get some business back in what we're doing, whether it's wrestling or gaming. We gotta get some business back in this fucking. The mob needs money. That's just the bottom line. So, all right. So again, Mountain Man, Marky, Tim. I know that Kevin was in here, and I know that Guapo was in here. Guys, I love you. Thanks for stopping by. I will see you as soon as I can. Hopefully Fridays, not Saturday. Friday or not Friday. I'll see you maybe. How about that? And then where I show up in the wrestling business is where you'll see me for real. I'll go live on the phone, and you guys just gonna have to deal with it. Okay. All right. So until then, remember what I always say: be good to yourself and be good to other mobsters. And remember, when nobody else in this world loves you, I love you. Right? So I'm proud of you. Get your head up. Get your eyes open. Get on your feet. I love you. And everybody loves Vinny, baby. I will see you next time. Be good. Be safe. Arrivederci, Jack.